was supposed to be a simple camping trip. Just a weekend in the woods to get away from the noise of everyday life. Jake, Sarah, Mark, Lena and me, we'd all been friends for years. We were used to camping. We had the gear, the right supplies. We were used to wandering off the beaten path and exploring remote spots. But this place felt different from the start. I remember the drive out there, the way the road seemed to narrow the deeper we went. The trees grew denser, their trunks twisted like ancient fingers reaching toward the sky, blocking out the light. The air felt thick, almost humid, like the forest was alive, watching, breathing. We arrived just as the sun began to set. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the air growing strangely still. I know it sounds cliche, but it felt like something wasn't right, like the forest was too quiet. No animals, no birds, no rustling of small creatures in the underbrush. Just stillness, and that faint whispering that no one could quite place. Sarah was the first to notice it. She had that instinct, you know. She always picked up on things we couldn't see. She stopped in her tracks as soon as we stepped into the clearing by the stream and looked over her shoulder, her eyes wide. "Do you hear that?" she said. We all turned to her, confused. I shook my head, dismissing it, but she insisted, her eyes darting around. "It's like whispers, right? Just on the edge of hearing." I listened. Nothing. Just the wind. Right. But then, I swear I heard it too. My name. Soft. Almost like a sigh, but clear enough to be heard above the wind. "David!" I laughed it off, trying to mask the creeping unease inside me. "It's nothing, Sarah. You're just hearing things." But even as I said it, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was out there, something waiting in the shadows of the trees. As night fell, the woods seemed to close in around us. The fire crackled in front of us, but the darkness felt deeper than it should have been. The trees loomed like silent watchers, and the whispers didn't stop. They grew louder as the minutes passed, almost intentional, like they were trying to be heard. But still, I tried to ignore it. So did the others at first. We sat by the fire, talking about everything and nothing. But even as we laughed, there was a feeling hanging in the air, a tension that none of us could name. It wasn't until later, when the fire burned low, that it all started to unravel. I swear, I hear voices out there. I think they're calling my name. We all froze. Sarah wasn't joking. Her voice was tight with fear, and I could see her shoulders hunched, her hands gripping the arm of her chair. "Stop it, Sarah," Jake said. But there was something in his voice too. He wasn't convincing anyone. The whispers were louder now, clearer. "Sarah." I could hear it too. It was like a voice that didn't belong in the world of the living, carried by the wind, just faint enough to make you doubt yourself. Then we heard it, my name. It wasn't the wind anymore. It was a voice, a low, familiar sound, but hollow, like an echo of someone who used to know me. It came from the trees, from the dark. I stood up, heart pounding, my gaze locked on the trees. My legs felt like stone, and for the first time, I didn't want to be out here. I wanted to leave. But when I looked at Jake and the others, they seemed different. Like they weren't really there, just shadows of who they used to be. And Sarah, she was gone. I was alone. The fire was still burning, but everything felt wrong. I could hear them. The whispers getting closer, calling my name, mocking me. I felt something behind me. Not human, not animal. Something inhuman, something old. I could feel its eyes on me. I ran. I don't know for how long, but no matter how fast I ran, I kept hearing the footsteps behind me. The forest was twisting around me, changing, turning into a maze of shadows and dead ends. No path, no way out. Just the sound of my own heartbeat and the whispering voices, always just behind me. It was getting darker. But it wasn't the kind of darkness you get when the sun goes down. This was wrong. The shadows stretched longer than they should have. And every time I looked over my shoulder, the trees seemed to move, like they were following me, watching me. And then it happened. I was sure I saw her. Sarah, in the distance, standing by one of the trees. But it wasn't Sarah. No. It was something else wearing her face. Her eyes were black, hollow. And as it looked at me, it whispered my name again. I don't know how I made it out. I still don't know. But I did. I stumbled out of those woods, and when I looked back, I saw the forest. It was still moving. The trees, the shadows, they were shifting like something alive, something watching me. I left that place, but I haven't been the same since. I'm not the same person I was when I walked into Whispering Hollow. Something is still there, and I know somehow that it's waiting for me to come back, to call my name again. You've heard it too, haven't you?